waking up in the middle of the night to an explosion so powerful that your windows begin to shake. You look outside, but there are no enemy aircraft, no warning of an invasion, and no visible battlefield. Then the news arrives. A missile connected to Russia's enormous attack on Ukraine has fallen inside Poland, a NATO member. For millions of people across Europe, this is no longer only a distant war. It is a frightening question. How many times can Russian missiles and drones cross NATO's borders before an accident becomes something much more dangerous? According to the available information, Russia launched one of its largest combined attacks on Ukraine, involving hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles. The strike reportedly included ballistic missiles, sea-launched cruise missiles, and air-launched weapons fired by strategic bombers. Many of those weapons were directed toward western Ukraine, including regions close to the Polish border. That flight path immediately placed NATO forces on alert, because even a small navigation failure could send a missile into Allied territory. But this time, the danger did not remain theoretical. At approximately 3:40 in the morning, Polish radar reportedly detected an unidentified object moving west. A Polish F-16 began pursuing it. Several minutes later, the object disappeared from radar. At almost the same time, residents near Tarnowa Kolonia heard a violent explosion. Emergency teams and military personnel were sent into the area. An M-24 helicopter helped search the location where radar contact had been lost. Investigators reportedly discovered a large crater in an empty field, only a short distance from nearby homes. Think about that for a moment. A few kilometers in another direction, and this story might not have been about an empty field. It could have involved homes, families, or critical infrastructure.
Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk visited the area with senior defense and interior officials. His message was direct. Polish forces had been ready to destroy the missile if it had continued flying deeper into the country or created a greater threat. That statement matters because Poland was not reacting blindly. Its air force had reportedly been monitoring the border for hours. Polish F-16s were already flying. A Saab 340 early warning aircraft was airborne. Radar stations and ground-based air defense systems had been placed at a high level of readiness. NATO assets were also involved. A tanker aircraft supported Polish fighters, while NATO's military command coordinated with Poland's senior defense leadership. This was not simply an emergency response. It was a demonstration of how quickly the alliance can activate a wider defensive network along its eastern border. But one question immediately dominated social media. If a Russian missile exploded in Poland, why was NATO's Article 5 not activated? Article 5 states that an armed attack against one NATO member can be treated as an attack against all members. However, the key issue is whether the incident is officially judged to be a deliberate armed attack. Polish authorities initially said there was no clear evidence that Poland itself had been intentionally targeted. Their working assessment was that the missile may have moved away from its intended route during the attack on western Ukraine. Legally and politically, that distinction is enormous. A deliberate strike could create pressure for collective military action. A missile that crosses the border unintentionally may instead be treated as a dangerous consequence of the war. However, that explanation is becoming harder for many people to accept because this was not the first border incident. Over the past several years, missiles and drones connected to the war have repeatedly approached or entered Polish airspace. In one major incident, nearly 20 drones reportedly crossed the border during a Russian attack on Ukraine. Polish and Allied fighter aircraft responded, and several airborne objects were intercepted. Every incident gives NATO more information about Russia's behavior, but it may also give Moscow information about NATO. How quickly are fighters launched? Which radar systems detect the threat? How close can an object travel before it is intercepted? What political language will NATO leaders use? At what point will consultation become military action?
Some Ukrainian and European analysts argue that Russia may be deliberately testing these limits while maintaining enough uncertainty to avoid a direct conflict. The Kremlin can claim that a missile malfunctioned, electronic warfare disrupted its navigation, or the weapons simply moved off course. NATO then faces an extremely difficult choice: respond too aggressively and the alliance risks escalation with a nuclear-armed state, respond too weakly, and every unanswered violation may slowly weaken deterrence. However, Russia may be testing the wrong country. Poland has become one of Europe's most heavily armed and rapidly modernizing military powers. Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Warsaw has dramatically increased defense spending and placed national security at the center of government planning. Poland has ordered hundreds of American Abrams tanks, South Korean K2 Black Panther tanks, K9 self-propelled howitzers, long-range rocket systems, and new infantry fighting vehicles. In the air, Poland is investing in Patriot air defense systems, Apache attack helicopters, and F-35 stealth fighters. This is not a limited modernization program. It is an effort to create a military capable of stopping a major attack on NATO's eastern frontier. Poland is also expanding its armed forces and strengthening its eastern border through a defensive program known as the Eastern Shield. The project includes anti-tank ditches, concrete obstacles, fortified positions, logistical facilities, surveillance technology, and drone detection networks along the borders with Belarus and Russia's Kaliningrad region. That changes the meaning of Tusk's statement that Poland was prepared to shoot the missile down. It was not simply political language. It reflected the growing confidence of a country preparing for the possibility that the war could move closer to its territory.
Poland's geography makes this situation even more serious. The country shares a long border with Ukraine and has become the main gateway for Western military and humanitarian assistance. The airport and logistics network near Rzeszów have played a central role in transporting equipment and supporting international travel into Ukraine. Poland also sits beside the Suwałki Gap, a narrow strategic corridor connecting the Baltic states with the rest of NATO territory. On one side is Belarus, on the other is Russia's Kaliningrad region. Military planners have long viewed this area as one of NATO's most vulnerable locations. Poland is therefore not just another alliance member, it is the logistical bridge supporting Ukraine and the defensive anchor connecting NATO's northern and central European territories. That makes every missile flight near Poland strategically significant, even when the available evidence does not prove deliberate targeting. There is also another part of this story: Russia's changing missile arsenal. The attack described in the available reports allegedly included weapons originally designed for very different missions. Anti-ship missiles and even missiles connected to air defense systems have increasingly been used against ground targets. Why would Russia use such expensive or specialized weapons against cities and infrastructure? One possible explanation is pressure on its missile stockpiles and production lines. Russia has maintained an intense strike campaign involving drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles. When certain weapons become limited, military planners may use whatever systems remain available. The reported presence of North Korean-designed ballistic missiles would also demonstrate how Russia's war effort has become connected to foreign suppliers. But Ukraine faces its own shortage. Ballistic missiles are extremely difficult to intercept. The Patriot system is one of the few available platforms capable of stopping them reliably. But interceptor missiles are expensive, limited, and demanded by several countries. Russia's strategy appears designed to exploit this problem. First, large numbers of inexpensive drones force Ukraine to activate radar systems and use ammunition. Then, cruise missiles approach from different directions, stretching air defenses across a huge area. Finally, ballistic missiles arrive at extreme speed, attempting to pass through whatever gaps remain. It is a brutal equation. Cheap drones can help exhaust extremely expensive defensive missiles. This is why even a high overall interception rate can hide a painful reality. Ukraine may destroy most incoming drones and cruise missiles while still struggling against a smaller number of ballistic weapons.
Yet caution remains essential. History has already shown how dangerous early conclusions can be. In November 2022, a missile struck the Polish village of Przewodów and killed 2 people. Initial speculation focused on Russia. Later assessments indicated that the weapon was likely connected to Ukrainian air defense, attempting to intercept a Russian attack. That tragedy demonstrated why investigators must carefully examine debris, radar records, flight paths, and guidance components before announcing responsibility. In the latest incident described in the supplied information, Polish authorities reportedly believe the debris may belong to a Russian Kh-101 cruise missile. However, they also said the technical investigation must establish the weapon's identity and circumstances with certainty. Even if the missile entered Poland unintentionally, one fact does not change. It was reportedly launched during a massive Russian attack conducted dangerously close to NATO territory. When military operations repeatedly place neighboring countries at risk, the difference between intention and recklessness begins to feel smaller to the people living beneath those flight paths. For Russia, these incidents may create fear and political hesitation. For NATO, they create pressure to prove that Allied airspace is protected. And for Poland, every new violation strengthens the argument for more fighters, more air defense batteries, more radar coverage, and stricter interception rules. The next missile may turn away, it may fall into another empty field, or it may continue flying. And when that moment comes, Polish pilots may be ordered to do exactly what their government has warned: shoot it down. So, what do you believe? Was this simply a missile that lost its route during a massive attack, or was Russia deliberately testing NATO's reaction time and political limits? Should Poland immediately destroy every Russian missile or drone that enters its airspace, or could that create the escalation Moscow wants? Share your opinion in the comments. For deeper defense analysis, military aviation updates, and the stories behind the headlines, like this video and subscribe to Skyjet Wings. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next report. This is Skyjet Wings, where we go beyond the headline to understand what could happen next.